In the last 20 years, there's been a significant shift in how churches think about themselves. And one of the pieces that came up probably in 20 years ago or so is the whole cell church movement. And a lot of our Mennonite churches tried to figure out how they could do better at small groups. And, we had a variety of expressions, including full-on cell churches, and then churches of small groups and churches with small groups, and various expressions of how to make the sort of the regular Bible study into more of a care group, so the shift is from having deacons who are assigned a number of people, even up to, I've seen groups that have been up to 40 or 50 people that are under the care of one deacon, and that's how the church is set up, that recognizing that it became impossible to care for that many people in any kind of appropriate way or adequate way. And so then small groups arising, saying, hey, we should be groups of maybe 10, maximum of 12 people that get together on a regular basis. It's not just a visitation once a year or even once every couple of years, but actual weekly or bi-weekly gathering. Ended up being a tremendous new way of becoming more involved in each other's lives and caring for each other, and it also relieved the pastor of the need to be able to think about caring for everybody in that sort of intimate way. It became a gathering that looked after itself. In fact, I remember hearing a story one time of somebody in a small group who was in a car accident and was actually in pretty serious condition in the hospital, and the cell pastor or cell group leader was notified, and he called together all the members of the group, and they were gathered around the bed with this guy and had been praying with him and praying for him, and so then the pastor walks in, because he now heard about it, and the pastor walks in and says, okay, let's have a word of prayer together. And the cell group leader says, well, okay, we already did that, but kind of like if you need to, that's okay, we can use more prayer. And I just really appreciate empowering cell group leaders or cell pastors to be able to take the full-on level of care, and that the pastor ends up giving more care for the leaders and giving more attention to ensuring that the leaders are strong and healthy, and engaging in the congregation in some of the crisis times as well, but knowing that there's this other body that is more intimately involved on a weekly, bi-weekly, regular basis. Now, the reality of it is that most of our churches have ended up with, say, maybe 50% of the people being involved in small groups, and some have been better at that, more successful, others not so. And so what do you do with the other 50% of the congregation who aren't in small groups? And I remember when I was pastoring, I often said in my annual report that we can't care for you as well as we would like to if you're not in a small group. Didn't seem to motivate a lot of people to get into small groups. There's some people who just don't feel that that's where it's at for them, and the Sunday morning experience is what they're looking for, but somebody to come alongside in times of difficulty, to know who to turn to. Became difficult in the small group model when there was really nobody besides the small group leaders. And so I have seen in my home congregation actually a bit of a movement back towards empowering some of the older people who really do have a caring heart to start caring for each other, not in groups, but just paying attention to the other people who need care, and kind of moving back to the idea of having deacons, and almost a hybrid of some very effective and empowering small groups, along with the idea of the deacon kind of ministry as well. And so as it always is in the church, is the pendulum swing that often swings too far one way, and there needs to be a finding of the kind of middle place where everybody does experience church in a way that's meaningful for them. And I think there is a swinging back to the center of the pendulum, at least in this area.